Welcome back to My Pocket Doctor Diabetes Program. My name is Dr. Johan Manez. I'm a lifestyle medicine specialist. And before we continue with this video, I'd like to review what we talked about in our previous. We now know that insulin produced by the pancreas is represented by keys. The muscle cells have locks. To open the doors, we need the keys, and by opening the doors, the sugar from the bloodstream is able to get into the muscle cell. But when the locks are stuck with chewing gum, in this case, fat in the muscle cell, the keys won't work. And we won't be able to open the doors, and so the sugar in the bloodstream continues to rise, and this is what we see in type 2 diabetes. The solution then? Clean out the locks. By not eating animal fats and visible vegetable oils, you take away the fat, the locks work again, and the diabetes can be reversed in 2 to 3 months. We are excited to let you know of a powerful menu for reversing this killer disease, and you'll be surprised at how easy the solution is. For type 2 diabetes then, the goal is to clean the gum out of the locks. This diet revamp can help protect your body from the disease process. This is crucial for both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. As you will see, many of these diet changes are far-reaching and powerful. And you will find out, as many of my patients did, that learning the plan's guidelines is a very simple process. There are no limits to portions. We won't be counting calories. We can eat a lot of carbohydrates. And what you will do is you will focus on what you eat, so how much you eat generally takes care of itself. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's first look at the many menu changes that make the diet so effective. Then in the rest of the video, I will walk you through the different ways that you can do to adopt the diet and make it work for you. To reverse the course of the diabetes, clean out the locks, and allow the heart and blood vessels the best chance of reversing any existing blockages, there are 3 guidelines that we need to remember. Number 1, set aside animal products. Number 2, keep vegetable oils to a minimum. And number 3, favor foods with a lower glycemic index. Now, there is no need to panic. I know it sounds like a tall order, but I am going to walk you through each step to show you the whys and the hows. For now, I just want you to understand the principles. Again, set aside animal products. There are 2 main sources of fat in the diet: animal products and vegetable oils. This guideline tackles this problem. So think about it. If you're not eating beef, that means you're not getting any beef fat. If you're not eating chicken, then you're not eating any chicken fat. Following the guideline means basically purging the animal fat from your diet. The program that you are about to start omits dairy and eggs from your diet. As you saw in the previous video, the research shows that fats you eat rapidly increase the amount of fat stored in your cells, particularly your muscle cells. This is the exact opposite of what people experience when they avoid animal products. When we follow the numbers, when we look at the numbers, we know that the research tells us that people who followed a vegan diet had 31% less intracellular fat compared to people on regular standard Western type diets. So we avoid animal products. By doing so, we avoid the fat. We take away the fat from our diets, we remove the fat from our muscle cells. That means improved insulin sensitivity. Now that is a great start, and the next guidelines are designed to carry you even further. The plan does have rules about carbohydrates, but they mainly relate to which ones you choose, not how much of the carbohydrates you eat. In our studies, we have found that people who include plenty of complex, these healthy complex carbohydrates like root crops, starchy vegetables, in their diets do far better and not worse. I can understand omitting beef, you might say, but why eliminate chicken? And how about fish? Well, the nutritional makeup of these foods may surprise you because they have significant amounts of fat and cholesterol, plus they lack fiber, which is very much abundant and present in these healthy carbohydrates that you actually need. Chicken, of course, is where chicken fat comes from. You see, even if you strip away the skin of the chicken meat and only eat the white meat, that meat is still about 60% of calories coming from fat. Much of the fat is bad saturated fat. That kind pushes your cholesterol upward and of course worsens the insulin resistance. You might be thinking, doesn't fish have good fat like omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids? Well, in a recent British medical journal article, a team of British researchers reported the results of a meta-analysis. That is a large study combining all prior studies on omega-3 and omega-3s and health. Looking at the 89 studies, that's a lot of studies. The researchers found that whether omega-3 oils were consumed as found in fish or as supplements, they offered no significant protection against cardiovascular disease, cancer, or even the risk of death. Finally, if you're looking to lose weight, it is important to note that good fats pack in just as many calories as bad fats. That is to say, omega-3 fatty acids are every bit as fattening as any other fat or oil. So in studies in general, chicken and fish diets are routinely disappointing. When researchers test diets that include even modest amounts of chicken and fish for their effect on cholesterol, for example, they find that these foods reduce the low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, or the little devils, as others would call it, little devils, cholesterol, by only 5% compared to an unrestricted diet. LDL cholesterol is the kind that increases the risk of developing heart problems like cardiovascular disease. A much more effective way to do things would be to eliminate animal products altogether. A most recent study using this sort of diet caused LDL cholesterol to drop more than 20%. That's 4 times better than chicken and fish diets could actually do. Now you will notice that the diet I recommend is not just free of animal fat, it is also free of animal protein. That is important because animal protein can harm your kidneys, and protecting them is a key priority. It is a key goal. Protein from plant sources is the way to go. If life without chicken in your diet sounds challenging, take heart from the experience of the patients who participated in some of our programs. They found the transition quite smooth, and within weeks, they were very much in charge, not only of their menus, but also of their health. They found that excess weight was already starting to melt away. The blood sugar was coming under control. The the cholesterol levels were coming down. They were falling quite fast, actually. And many started to cut back on their medications or even discontinue the medications. So we know it can be done. There are healthier substitutes for dairy products, for example, including soy, tofu, tempeh, and others. Cow's milk derives 49% of its calories from fat. Think about that. Even 2% fat milk have about 35% of calories from nothing but pure fat. Fat-free dairy products had their fat removed, but what's left may surprise you. When the fat is skimmed away, the dominant nutrient left in milk is actually sugar, lactose or dairy sugar. Lactose, of course, is the sugar that causes digestive upsets in many people, and this results, of course, in diarrhea. Another thing, dairy protein has come under scrutiny for their potential contribution to type 1 diabetes. This is related to mothers substituting breast milk with cow's milk and giving that to their babies. In general, then, protein appears to accelerate the gradual loss of kidney function that can occur in diabetes. Plant sources of protein, such as beans, grains, vegetables, soy products, for example, do not appear to cause the problem. People who have migraines often report improvement when they avoid certain foods, and milk and dairy and other dairy products are often on top of that list. Dairy products are linked to other health problems as well, ranging from acne to prostate and ovarian cancer. It is the latter issue, cancer, that has gotten the attention of the medical community, because 2 large Harvard studies and several other studies from other countries have shown that milk-drinking men have significantly higher risk of developing prostate cancer compared with men who generally avoided milk. The explanation appears to lie in hormonal effects caused by milk. For ovarian cancer, the evidence is mixed, with some studies showing higher risk among milk drinkers and another showing no increased risk. What we can do then is make better choices. Apart from soy milk, there are other great products that include rice milk, almond milk, for example, and many others. They come in regular, calcium-fortified, low-fat varieties. They also come in plain vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry flavor. Calcium-fortified juices have arrived on the market too. Of course, none of these are really necessary, because after the age of weaning, the only beverage that is actually biologically required is water. Not soda, not juice, not even milk, just pure water. Let's talk about eggs. There are only 2 problems with eggs: the yellow part and the white part. The yolk, the yellow part, is where the cholesterol lurks. About 300 milligrams in a single egg yolk. That is more than an 8-ounce steak. The yolk also holds fat, about 5 grams per egg. Egg white have problems of its own, since it is essentially pure animal protein. And of course, animal protein can present problems for your kidneys, so you'd better be off with a plant protein diet. Also, the white part of the eggs contain a compound called choline. Now, choline, when it is metabolized in your liver and then oxidized, produces a compound called trimethylamine oxidase, which is a very potent pro-oxidant or a free radical that literally destroys or at least injures the lining of your blood vessels. The cholesterol is what is used to sort of patch up the lining of these injured blood vessels, and over time it develops atherosclerosis. And we know that atherosclerosis, when it builds up over time, is the reason people get heart attacks. Here are great ways to replace eggs. If a recipe calls for 1 or 2 eggs, you can leave them out and then just add a couple of tablespoons of water for moisture. Egg replacement powders are also available in many health stores. And you can use 1 heaping teaspoon of soy flour or a cornstarch plus 2 to 3 tablespoons of water to replace each egg for baked products. You can try an egg-sized piece of mashed tofu in place of each egg. Half a banana can be used in a muffin or cookies, for example, but it will carry with it its own flavor. For meatless loaves and veggie burgers, you can use any of these plant-based ingredients like tomato paste, mashed potatoes, moistened breadcrumbs, or even whole rolled oats. For a breakfast dish, for those of you who like scrambled eggs, scrambled tofu has become quite popular. Let's talk about the second guideline. Keep vegetable oils to a minimum. Oils creep in everywhere, and cooking oils, salad oils, vegetable oils used in baking, and snack food are some of the sources of these oils. Vegetable oils enjoy a better reputation than animal fats, and indeed, they have less saturated fat which is the kind that raises cholesterol levels. But we still want to keep all oils to a minimum. Here's why. First, all fats and oils are loaded with calories. Just to illustrate, taking 1 tablespoon of corn oil is equivalent to eating 14 ears of corn. Remember that every gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. Second, remember your goal is to regain as much insulin sensitivity as possible. And we know for a fact that fat in your diet clogs up the locks in your cells and causes insulin resistance. So avoiding even vegetable fats is advisable. So here are some sources of these vegetable oils. Fried foods. Added oils like on salad dressing, for example. Oils used as ingredients such as in packaged foods and sauces include significant amounts of oil. Oils used in sautéing. One of the best ways to avoid these vegetable oils, of course, is not to eat the food that has a lot of oil. There are so many ways to cook without using oil. You can grill, you can bake, you can air fry, steam, and even sauté with a little water instead of oil. What about good fats, you might say? You can always find fats you need in whole plant foods that are available. There is natural fat in avocados, for example, nuts, whole grains, beans, and you don't even have to worry about their portion sizes because even if these foods have fats, the amount of fat is very small. Third guideline, favor foods with low glycemic index. Beans and their relatives, the lentils and peas, are always low glycemic index. Green leafy vegetables and fruits have low glycemic index, except for some fruits like watermelon and pineapples. Pasta is a low GI food. You just have to cook it al dente. Barley, bulgur, hard-boiled rice all have low GI values. Pumpernickel and rye breads have low GI value as well, while wheat varieties such as bagels, white bread, and even whole wheat bread have a tendency to have higher GI indexes. Yams and sweet potatoes are lower GI foods, in contrast to baking potatoes, which have high GI. For breakfast, you can have whole rolled oats and even bran cereals, which have lower GI, while most processed cereals tend to have higher GI. So this is what you want to do. All these low GI foods, these are the right fuel to place inside your tank. A simple diagram that will help you to know what types of food and how much food you have to put on your plate. Here is a diagram we call the power plate. So you'll notice that in this plate there are 4 sections, basically equal sections on each plate. And for each of these 4 sections of your plate, you place in 4 food groups. These 4 food groups include whole grains, whole beans, fruits, and vegetables in roughly the same proportions. By eating this way every single meal, every single day, you have a great chance at reversing your diabetes. It's been a lot to take in, but I hope that you have learned that the different foods that you eat have a huge effect on your health and on your diabetes. Again, my name is Dr. Johan Mañez. Thank you for listening in. Stay tuned for our next video.